What would happen if human dignity was at risk in today's digital age, hidden behind an illusion of popularity built on explicit and sensational content? Every day, as we scroll through social media, we're hit with endless streams of videos, posts, and stories, each vying for our attention. The online world is captivating, and it's full of creativity, humor, and inspiration. But sometimes, we're pulled in by content that walks a thin line between entertainment and exploitation. So, what if this quest for likes and followers is actually costing us something bigger? Our own sense of self-worth and dignity. To understand this, let's dive into a trend that's sweeping across social media: explicit content and online begging. On one side, we have the rise of provocative images and videos where people push the boundaries of what they share online. It's become increasingly common to see people sharing personal, often intimate aspects of their lives in a bid for attention. On the other, we see content creators who ask for support, sharing hardships, and seeking donations. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes people need real help, and sometimes sharing personal struggles can connect us deeply. But where do we draw the line when it begins to feel like our lives are on display? That we're trading in parts of ourselves for fleeting popularity? Let's start with the rise of explicit content online. Over the past decade, social media has slowly transformed into a platform where people feel pressured to share more provocative content to gain visibility. Think about it. There's a belief that if the internet rewards a particular kind of content with views, likes, and even money, it must be worthwhile, right? Well, here's where things get tricky. While posting sensational content might bring instant fame, it doesn't bring lasting respect. It doesn't lead to genuine admiration or fulfillment. Instead, it often sets up a cycle where people have to keep pushing the boundaries, going further to maintain the same level of engagement. And it's not just explicit content, there's also an increasing trend of online begging. While many creators genuinely need support, the internet has blurred the lines between genuine needs and exaggerated pleas. The idea is simple. In a world where everyone has a voice, some might feel that sharing highly personal or even shocking stories can grab attention and sympathy, and often it does. But here's the thing, as these posts rack up views and likes, it can sometimes feel like people's lives are becoming performances for the sake of support. This dynamic can lead to a real dilemma. On one side, the viewer, feeling unsure about the sincerity of what they see, and on the other, the creator, feeling pressured to keep up the act. But why does this happen? Why do so many people turn to these extremes? Part of the answer lies in our need for validation. In a world where a person's worth can feel defined by their follower count, people may feel pressured to stand out. And when it feels like traditional paths, like talent or hard work, don't lead to the recognition we crave, these shortcuts to fame can seem tempting. But here's the catch. Trading in dignity for digital popularity comes at a high cost. So, what does all this mean for dignity? Dignity is that inner sense of self-worth and respect that we carry with us. It's something we all need. Yet in the online world, it can feel harder to hold on to. When our sense of value feels like it's measured by numbers, likes, comments, shares, it's easy to forget that dignity isn't something that can be quantified. But with more people equating online engagement with self-worth, the boundary between what's dignified and undignified starts to blur. Let's talk about how this illusion of popularity affects us. First, it can lead to emptiness and burnout. Research shows that when people rely primarily on social media for validation, they often experience higher rates of anxiety and depression. The thrill of a new like or a comment is fleeting, pushing people to seek that rush over and over again, often by upping the stakes. It's like running on a never-ending treadmill where the goal keeps moving further away. And there's something else to consider. When dignity is compromised, it changes the way we see each other and ourselves. When we're constantly exposed to content that's all about pushing boundaries, it can make us less empathetic, more judgmental. We may start seeing others as just content creators, rather than real people with lives beyond the screen. This can lead to a culture where people feel pressure to be seen, not necessarily respected. And what does this mean for our relationships, our mental health, our sense of self? Over time, it can create a society where validation comes at the cost of self-respect. So, is there a way forward that allows us to preserve our dignity in a digital world? The answer lies in redefining what we consider valuable. Popularity doesn't have to mean sacrificing our values, and validation doesn't have to come from shock or spectacle. We can choose to support content that's thoughtful, uplifting, and real. For those of us who are online, it means recognizing that not all views or likes equal self-worth, and that dignity is something that exists beyond the screen. Let's be real. Our dignity isn't something that social media can take away unless we let it. If we start valuing creativity, kindness, and authenticity over shock value, we can redefine what it means to be popular online. It's about creating a space where people feel respected and connected for who they are, not for how far they're willing to go for a click or a view. So next time you're online, ask yourself, am I supporting something that uplifts, or am I feeding into a cycle that erodes dignity? Because the future of our digital lives isn't about likes or views, it's about building a community where we all feel valued and respected.